What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. All right, so today we are in the garage, but there's no cars in here. That is because we're gonna start a video on the upgrade of my garage. Yes, finally I am upgrading my garage, and I'm not gonna say upgrading because really nothing's getting upgraded in the garage other than the floor, but we're gonna be basically finishing off the garage at this point. So I'm gonna just tell you a little backstory. If you guys wanna fast forward the video, you can, but I'm gonna just tell you a little backstory on how this garage happened to come out so small. So years ago when we bought the house, my wife and I were very, very excited to buy a house. Either one of us had a garage where we lived. We lived in Chicago, and mostly in Chicago, your cars get parked on the front. If my parents had a garage, but it was just a two-car garage. And again, it's just, regular garage in Chicago, nothing big. And we never had a garage really. My car always ended up in the front of the street. That's where we found the parking, and that was it. So I was just excited to have a garage. So when we're signing for the house, the lady's like, hey, because it was built, we had it built. There was nothing here, it was just land. And the lady's like, hey, do you guys want a 2-car garage or 3-car garage or 2.5-car garage, whatever? For another 10 grand would have gave us a 2-car garage or 3-car garage. Again, not thinking future-wise, I and my wife looked at each other and said, well, we only have 2 cars, hers and mine. Why do we need a 3-car garage? No, we're fine. 2-car garage is perfectly fine. Fast forward to now, I kick myself in the butt every single time because I can't stand that I have a 2-car garage, and everybody around here has a 3-car garage pretty much, or at least a 2.5-car garage. Even my parents' house that they just moved into have a 2.5-car garage. My sister has a 3-car garage. She just bought a house. So it is annoying that I ended up with a 2-car garage, and literally a 2-car garage. Not 2.5, not 2 3/4, 2 cars. It is literally 20 by 20. From the door to the wall and from wall to wall, 20 by 20. It's the most annoying thing. So, it's small. When I first moved in, everything that I used when I had the V-Sport, because the first car I had was a Cadillac DTS, and all my cars were always sedans at the beginning. And when I first moved in, everything that I pretty much had went up against this wall right here. Now, when it comes to garages, when the house was done, this wall was not finished. There was just basically 2x4s, or basically the studs were there. You could see the studs and everything. That wall was done and that wall was done. Not fully done, it's not painted of course, but that's how they ended up coming. And all my tools, I had a little Husky toolbox right here, a little workbench, nothing big. And that's where I worked on it, and I had a little toolbox over there, a little gray toolbox. That was it. That was the only thing that I had, a few tools and stuff like that. Of course, if things started getting more and more, now I got, of course, a bigger toolbox. And of course, it won't fit back there. So when I back my truck in here, I can't put anything back here because the truck literally has an inch off the wall and an inch off the door when my Ram is in here. When the Escalade was here, I had a little bit more room, but it still was tight. When the other cars were here, when the V-Sport was there and everything, I had enough room if I wanted to put something back here. I just didn't want anything in the back, so I moved everything to that wall. Now, of course, I had a giant storage cabinet in here, which had way too many things, and I downsized to this Milwaukee one, which is perfect and it fits everything. Of course, and it goes with everything I have. So that's gonna be part of that's one of the transformations there. Now, of course, I've always done power washers and stuff like that. I've always owned one of these Ryobi ones, which I love. And I bought this little one just to basically mount it off the wall, and this is the setup that I have here. Now, of course, I did some plywood in here to reach all the studs, and then mounted that on there because, of course, these brackets or this base would not reach because I didn't get a base that was long enough for its 16 to actually reach. It was either the other stud was right here in the middle, so this one wouldn't reach. So I had a base. This is basically what the setup ended up being, and I love the way it turned out. This is actually coated with the Raptor guard or the Raptor bed liner. I used some of the bed liner I had from my brother-in-law's video that I did on his bed liner when I actually sprayed it in. There was some left and I used it, and I actually love the way it came out. So that's my setup for my power washer. Now, the upgrades that are already gonna be coming to this garage is, number one, you guys already see it right here. I bought the quick jacks. Those floor jacks, I am done with jacking up a car little by little. When I'm doing brakes, when I'm doing any work, I gotta jack up the front, put jack stands, and I only got 2 jack stands actually, never really upgraded to like 4. So 2 jack stands in the front, and then I have to jack up the back if I wanna lift up the entire car. Those days are over. I finally got the quick jacks. Now, my first choice was going to be something called a max jack, and that's a $4,000 jack, and that one actually will lift the car a lot higher. The problem with me, of course, is also, since my bedroom's upstairs, I have a load beam right across there that's about 9.5 feet off the ground. Any other car would have fit in here. The Escalade or the Ram 1500 with that lift, and that would have been a nice lift to have in here. That will now raise up enough, and it doesn't give me enough clearance, so I ended up with these. Now, of course, that has to be moved as well. So now, here are the upgrades that are going to be coming here, and this will be all in one video. I'm going to get a new garage door opener that's going to be wall mounted. The garage door, they're going to come out here, and we're going to lift the garage door higher, so it clears. Basically, it's going to leave me to the point where it's going to be up almost 9.5 feet. It's going to have the same height as that load bearing beam. So when the garage door goes up, it'll be up about that high. So that'll be clear. That'll leave me almost in this entire space to be able to lift my truck up if need be. And then of course, we're gonna be doing the floor. They're gonna be coming out, we're gonna be doing the floor. And I'm finally gonna be painting the walls. Now these walls have been like this. Again, this is basically was just studs, nothing. I insulated them. And of course, I mud and taped and everything. So I basically got to finish painting everything in here. That's going to be all part in this video. And again, I will get some better lighting because that is the only light that I have. And that light kind of sucks because it only lights up right here. And of course, if you look at the rest of the garage, it's kind of dark on that side over there. So all this is going to be coming in this video. And you guys are going to see the transformation on this garage. And finally, I'm going to be happy to have the garage that I want. And again, I'll show you before and after pictures. I even show you before this video pictures of the garage at the end of the video. So stay tuned to see how the garage turns out at the very end. And it's gonna, my plans and my ideas, I'm over here thinking over there what I'm gonna do and how everything's gonna look at the end and the colors I'm gonna paint on this. And it'll all be shown in this video. And again, the next thing coming up is going to be the flooring. That's gonna be done coming in April. And of course, you guys haven't seen the new car yet to when I started recording this. But by the time the flooring comes in, you guys will have seen the new car already. And that's what those wheels are right down there. Those are for the new car that my wife owns. So yeah, so this is basically the introduction video. But again, my time is gonna take some time and your time is gonna be quick. So yeah. We'll see you guys in a little bit here once the flooring people come in here. I'm gonna get these quick checks set up. If you guys wanna see videos on those, I have some links for people setting up the quick checks. I'm gonna go through all that. I'm gonna set these up, put them on the wall. And the reason I'm putting things on the wall still is because I'm gonna have them marked. So when I paint the walls, I know where everything's gonna go back to. So I'll see you guys in just a bit. In your time, my time, it's probably gonna be a few weeks. All right, guys, so Encore Concrete Concepts is finally here. I've waited 7 years for this whole garage project. And again, it's not epoxy they're applying. They're applying a polymeric or polyurea coating on there, which again is supposed to be more flexible. Now, I did ask about the joints on the floor, which is basically the lines that go across the floor. They can't cover those up, and I did not know this is because for expansion of the garage, of course, they basically are there in case, you know, when the garage expands, things like that, for movement and stuff like that, so it doesn't all crash, so it's not just one giant plot of cement. But they did say once they coat it, it'll bring it up a little bit, easier to clean and everything else. And of course, the whole thing is gonna be easier to clean. They weren't worried about any of the stains on there, the stains with the oil stains on there, which actually what I showed you guys, they weren't water stains, which was oil stains. They did say that those, they will basically grind down, of course, which I knew they were gonna be doing that. And if they don't come off, they'll basically torch them to get the oil out of there and then grind it again. So I'm excited about this. I'm gonna show you guys how they do this whole project, and we'll take a look at the end, how it looks, and then the before and after, so stay tuned for that. So I have a confession to make. It's been about 2 months since I shot that last clip you guys just saw. And yeah, I kind of went on this whole thing about doing my garage, and I ended up finishing it. But I just wanted to get it done and didn't record any of the process to get there. So I want to apologize to you guys, because normally when I'm working on a car, I want to explain everything I'm doing. At least have some B-roll showing you what I did to this point. I didn't do any of it. I literally stopped at that last clip that I talked about, Uncle Carson's being out here, and was still in between if I should finish the entire garage or should not finish the garage, and I ended up finishing everything, spending more money than I really wanted to, but at the end, the results will show for themselves in a second here. But again, and I will talk about everything I did and kind of the process of getting there. So let's go take a look at the garage and see what it looks like now. So there you guys have it. You see how the garage looks. The floor turned out great. My issue was having is that I did have an issue with Encore Concepts where basically they did damage my garage door. They ended up hitting the door or something with the rail the next day, or the next day when I came out, when you were able to walk on it finally after 24 hours. Came out to open the garage door. The garage door did not open. The motor was not working. And again, I do have a now wall-mounted garage door opener to make space up here for pretty much for me to be able to lift the cars, because I do have the quick checks now. So when that happened, I called them up, said, hey, this is what happened. The cable actually snapped, and I had to have a company come out that night, spend another like $600 in getting that fixed. So on top of that, it cost me more money than I wanted to for the garage flooring. Then at the end, I looked at everything. Once you look at the picture of the whole thing sitting out there, looking at the floor all nicely done and the walls not finished, I'm like, I have to finish the walls. I have to paint this garage. I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done. And of course, then I went into a whole process where, like I said, I ended up doing everything and not filming any of it. Just went ahead and just went around and basically finished the entire garage. So I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna go through the process of everything happened here. So once the floor was done and it was great, like I said, I dealt with Encore Concepts with them damaging my door. They didn't do anything for it. According to them, there's a policy or in their contract that actually says they don't take responsibility for any garage doors being damaged, even though they were the ones that did it. The garage was working fine, but either way, I ended up fixing it. It is what it is now. That's one thing, is when you guys are hiring them, make sure you check those things, because if they damage something, they're not responsible for anything, according to them. I did not see that on the clause, so it is what it is. I ended up paying the $600 out of my pocket. Other than that, the work they did was pretty good. I'm gonna say from 5 stars, from 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. There are some little areas in the corners that don't look just right, but again, I'm not nitpicky like that, especially some of the corner areas are hidden anyways. So the next day after, like I said, once I saw the floor, it looked amazing. I love the way it looks. And then I started looking at the rest of the walls. It was just bad. I mean, it was just, there's stains on the walls, there's damage on the walls, a bunch of mud on the walls from me making holes and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta get the walls done. I gotta get this whole project done properly. So I ended up basically taking everything off the walls. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law came out. They helped me because they do this for a living. They came out and did basically the mudding. I suck at mudding or drywalling. I can fix small holes, but I cannot do entire walls. Let's put it that way. So they did everything. They mudded everything for me. I actually ended up sanding everything and then painting everything. I did this grayish color kind of that I do like. I also bought everything from pretty much the TikTok shop. You guys see the lights up top here? These lights are from the TikTok shop. I bought those lights. You guys see them on there all the time. This is not a promotion. I'm not getting paid for it. I'm just showing you guys. They actually do light up the room really, really well. When I did this side, that side over there was still dark because I have the load-bearing beam there. So when the door is closed and it's nighttime, you light up everything. This one has 10 panels plus the 1 bar that connects them all. That side over there was just dark still. And I mean, even though I won't work on that side for the most part, unless I back the truck in for something, and the garage door blocks it anyways, but at night, it didn't look right. It looked off and didn't like the way it looked. So basically, I ended up ordering another set of 5, but I only put 3 up because, again, I don't need that much light. And that does an amazing job in lighting that whole area up as well. So I put 3 on that side, on this side, and I made it off of 1 switch. So if you guys see all the wiring you're gonna see here, you see all that wiring there? So basically, 1 is for the garage door opener. The other one's for the camera. Those are the 2 small wires right there. And then what I ended up doing is I ended up cutting into the wire. I basically cut the wiring and adding an extension that comes all the way here to where the outlet is actually at. You guys can see it right in there. So it goes into the outlet. There's no plug in there. and it goes directly into the wiring of the house, and it works with this switch. So this switch here turns the lights on and turns them off. So that's my switch. Now I was thinking of doing a motion sensor for it. My garage door open has one, but it only lights up that little one. I may not throw a motion sensor on there, just so when you walk into the garage, the lights turn on, and of course after a minute, they'll shut off if there's no movement. Now over here on this wall, this is kind of almost stay the same for the main part. And yes, I have Fox struts right there. That's gonna be going on that truck. That's gonna be a video on its own. But anyways, I had this thing where I had a wood panel back here. So basically what I did is when I first set this whole thing up, there was wood, 2x4s going across, hitting every stud. And then I did basically the wood, I put a big wood panel back there to hold these pack out mounts on. This time around, I actually went straight to the wall. Now they have the new pack out mounts that actually have all these little holes, slats in there. You could actually hit all the actual studs in the back and not have an issue, and actually hit them. Unless like they were like this before. Check these out. They had like every so often, so you didn't hit every stud. So on these, what I ended up doing is I ended up going with some anchors, and there's the anchors that I use to mount TVs when you can't hit a stud. I will link them down below so you guys check them. They're actually really good, and I love using those when I'm mounting TVs. I try to hit a stud for most of the times, but if you can't, these wall anchors hold about 50 pounds, it says a weight or whatever, and they're really, really good. And I'll put a link down below, but some of these hit studs. I think that one hits a stud, and one back here hits a stud. So they are hitting studs, but the other ones are just hit on there by wall anchors. And then at the end, I took the wheels off my toolbox and the locker from Milwaukee, and I made this stand right down here. That's about 16, 17 inches high. And basically now I was able to push this up against the wall like I always wanted to, pretty for the most part. Kind of have it nice and flush on there. So you guys can see that. So there's a stand, so it looks really uniform on there. The wheels are not there. Yes, they're not movable, but I don't plan on moving anywhere. For one, for a while we're not leaving anywhere. Two, the two boxes are not gonna go anywhere. I can't put them behind here ever, because I can't fit the truck if I put them back here. They won't go back here because then we can't get into the house if we get out one of the cars. And over here, I got the garbage cans, and they're not gonna go on that side ever. So literally where they're always gonna be, that's the only room I could find for them. Of course, that cabinet stayed the same right in there. Put my self-made Milwaukee tool holder there. So that's pretty cool. And again, this portion where it holds the tools, I bought it on Amazon. Now that's been up there for years. I've done that before in the past. I just basically use the same thing. As far as, here we go, another TikTok shot from GRF Tools. This vacuum cleaner is pretty decent. I will give it a good rating. It's mainly meant, they have it as a shop vac, but I wouldn't suggest it's a big shop vac. It doesn't pick up big things, but to do like vacuum cars and stuff like that, small things, it's a wet, dry vac. Works perfectly fine. Of course, there's my quick chucks on the floor. Now, I left them on the floor because they're heavy as hell. I actually have the mounts there to mount them on the wall, but every time I use them, they're a pain. They're 100 pounds a piece to get them off the walls there. And it's just a pain. So basically what I did, I just left them on the floor for now. Come winter, when I don't use them anymore, in the winter where I do less work, I will basically put them back on the wall there. They'll be stored up there for the winter. But for now, when I'm doing things on the cars, I have them on the floor so I could easily, because they have these wheels on them, check these out. These wheels I put on them, they actually move very, very easily. They slide through the floor very easily there. You can see that. So I kind of left them on the floor. And again, I don't have anything that goes in there at this point in time. And then, of course, I bought a new little jack stand, This again, so I don't need a big jack like I used to have the big heavy ones. That's a 26-pound Pittsburgh jack. It's a low profile, 1.5 tons. Enough just to basically hold suspension, things like that when I'm working on the car. Got my compressor on the side there. Maybe I might get a little bit bigger compressor, I'm not sure. And then, of course, the heater I also changed out. You guys used to see my videos before. The heater used to be in the center of the wall over here. It was this square. Now, that one is in the basement. I am selling that one. I have it at Amazon Marketplace or Facebook Marketplace. But I took that off the center there, and I bought this heater, which has a remote control. Now, currently, the switch is off, which is back here, because it's summer and I don't need the heater. But come winter, I'll turn the switch on. I'm going to actually mount this remote control on the wall here where the light switch is at or where the garage door is at. And then I'll be able to turn the heater on from that side. Mainly, again, because when I have my truck pulled in here, I cannot get to the other side, which is an issue on its own, which is one of the things that's going to happen today. So I am actually right now waiting for a garage door company that's coming out here, because the other day when I finally had it all said and done and it was all prettied up and I go to lift my truck up to do something on it, I pull the truck in, and of course my truck barely fits in the garage. I said I may have half an inch left when I got against the wall, and I have about an inch of room or maybe 2 inches of room in the front when I close the garage door. So my truck barely fits in this garage. So I pull the truck in, and no matter which way I pulled it in and I lifted it, I could only go to the first setting or the first lift point on the quick jacks because the garage door is too low. And of course I knew that when I bought them. And today I'm waiting for the garage company to come out and basically lift the garage door. It's gonna go up another 2 feet. They're gonna come and lift it, and they're gonna properly set everything. And that way I can lift the truck up a lot higher when I'm doing suspension work, things like that. And that's what I'm waiting for today. Finally, the garage door is done. Check this out. And I actually changed the garage door. I didn't just do a high lift door. I actually had them replace the door. But there's a little story behind that. It didn't happen the day I was waiting. That day on the last clip you guys saw, or last scene you guys saw, it ended up taking about 2 weeks. The reason being because I almost got scammed. In a way, I kind of did get scammed slightly, but I caught it right before anything went through. So, like I said, I had called the garage door company out, a garage door company out, to come out and look at it. The guy came out in a van, ladders, the whole nine. No markings on the side, though. Didn't say what garage company it was from. But of course, they answer my call. He comes out. He's like, hey, he knows your name and everything. And he gives you the quote. He's talking garage door pretty much, you know. He's looking at us, what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do. We're going to replace the drums, the springs. So the guy sounds 100% legit. So, cool. He takes a deposit. $400 of deposit is what he takes. It will be out on Wednesday. This was basically Monday, supposed to be out on Wednesday. Cool, no problem. Wednesday comes around, the day of comes around. I leave work early to be here, and guess what? They call me at the last minute saying that the tracks did not come in, that we'll have to reschedule it. They scheduled it for that Sunday, even though I was told they don't work Sundays. I started getting a little bit kind of, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not right. Well, okay, whatever. So Sunday, they're going to come out. The day of again, they call and say, hey, the same lady, unfortunately, the part still didn't come in. We have to reschedule it for Tuesday. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? Now I'm getting kind of more suspicious. So I start looking into it. The name of the company that came out that states on the receipt is called 317 Garage Door and Gateway or something like that. I'm going to put a picture for you guys so you can see right here of the receipt I got. So they come out here, and that's the company that gave me the quote, wrote handwritten everything, there's phone numbers and everything. It looked legit, 100% legit. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm like, okay, so I call back and I'm not getting an answer right away. Then I finally call back, the lady picks up the phone and I said, what's going on here? Why have you not called me to reschedule this at the right time or none of that? She's stuttering the whole time I'm talking to her. I finally go, let me speak to your manager. According to her, the manager, the whole team was off for like some kind of Jewish holiday or something. I forgot what she said it was. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, I said, what's the manager's name? And she just gives me a name. And she says, we call him Mr. Again, I don't remember the name, but it was a specific name. She calls him Mr. Evans or Mr. I'm like, what's his last name? She can't give me a last name. Then I said, well, who's the owner of the company? Can't give me a last name. What's your guys' address? She says, well, we're a mobile company. Like, what? A garage door company? I mean, again, you guys let me know if there's mobile garage door companies out there, but if you got to have garage doors in stock or beams or ladders and stuff, mobile company, again, maybe there is, but I don't know. So I start looking into this, Facebook, Google, not accredited by the Better Business Bureau, and this is something I should have done before I gave them money. As soon as I find out that in Facebook they have bad reviews, or they have basically people saying that they're scamming, they never came out. One person that did come out and they ruined their garage door instead, and it was just bad, all around bad, not accredited by the Better Business Bureau. You can't find, actually, if you type in their name, you can't find them anywhere. I call back and I start going back and forth with the lady and I record the phone call and I tell them I'm recording the phone call. She's giving me the runaround. Either way, I called my bank. I said, this is what's going on. My bank did some investigation, got me my money back. The bank's gonna take care of whatever, how they handle that part. But I did get my $400 back, and ended up getting another company to come out here, an actual company, which is pretty much Four Seasons garage door and repairs, I believe they're called. They came out here and did a phenomenal job. So just so you guys know, and the way I did is I basically typed in garage door companies near me, and one of the first ones that popped up was that company that came out and basically almost tried to scam me. So if you guys ever see somebody comes out to your house and there's 317 garage door and gate or whatever, you know what, get out of my house. They're to scam you for money. So at least from my experience. The guy actually called me back after the garage door was installed and said, hey, we got an appointment set for you. We're coming out today. I said, I didn't answer the phone right away, and I got the voicemail. And when I called back, he was like, hello? I'm like, who's this? He goes, well, who's this? You called me. I'm like, you called me and left me a voicemail. Oh, yeah, the garage. I said, buddy, we're done. I said, you guys are scammers and everything. So anyways, that's 317 garage door is a scam. Don't fall for it. If you call a garage door company and that's who comes out and he's got a receipt of that, get them out of your house quick. Get them out. Just giving you guys a heads up. Anyways, back to the garage door. So finally, like I said, the garage door is done. And it is beautiful. I actually got a whole new garage door, an insulated door. I paid the money for it. It cost me about $4,500 to do this. But it's a high-rise door as well. I got the windows. I've always wanted a garage door with windows. Don't ask me why. I've always wanted this to get some light in. And it's, again, Four Seasons garage doors. They do everything. Check those guys out right there. That's their number. But they came out and did an awesome job. Check this out. I got all new tracks. This track was bent here. So they got all new tracks all the way through. New spring, roller. My garage door opener is now up top there. You guys can see that. And I love the way it looks. Also, how quiet it is. Listen to this. Super quiet. And of course, it's the motor, but the door itself. Love the way it came out. And it just gives the garage a lot more. It just feels a lot bigger now. Check this out. It just feels, when I first walked in here, when they were done, it just felt like I could actually put a regular size lift in here. Of course I can't, because I only got they are 10-foot ceilings, but with that beam, it's a 9-foot ceiling pretty much. But love the way it came out. Oh yeah, and another thing is that Vivo or that Giraffe tool vacuum sucks. It lasted right after I was done with the video, I was using it and it stopped working. So I ended up going back to my rigid wall mount one. It's, for the price, is a lot better, even though I have to carry it around when I'm vacuuming. But for $500, vacuum to fail within a month sucked. I just returned it to them. I said, I don't want another one. Don't worry about it. I got this one. This one's been working perfectly fine for me. It is what it is, and it actually matches my rigid compressor. But anyways, yeah, so basically it looks a lot better. And here's a picture of the car up in the air. My truck can actually go up a lot higher now, so for me to work on suspension, which I do have to do suspension, there's my Fox shocks right there. They got to be installed. It's going to be a lot more room. When I lift it, I'm going to put it, of course, I'm going to reverse it in. So when it goes forward, I have a lot more room towards the front for it to go forward. When the lift goes up, it pushes, of course, the car goes forward a slight amount, about 6-7 inches. So I don't have to worry about hitting the wall with the front of the car. So yeah, it is a lot better. And I just love the way it looks at this point. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Garage is finally completed and finally the way I want it. And more functional too, just more appealing as well overall. It's just a better place to be in. I kind of was getting annoyed with the cement flooring and the stains they had and everything else. And this is so much easier to clean. I got a mop just for this floor, so I can just mop the floor around. I either sweep it, vacuum it, mop it, and it just keeps it clean. The walls look good, the color looks good, the lighting. So yeah, so if you guys want to know how much I actually spent fully on the garage from start to finish, the garage doors being the most expensive. Yes, it was like about $4,500. I mean, again, to me, I just wanted to get them done. At the point of I was going to do a high lift, was about almost $1,800. The garage door had a crack on it. They were going to fix that, which was, it cost me almost $2,500 for the repair, or even $3,000 to put a new panel on it. I just went ahead and did them. I'm not sure if I overpaid, but I'm happy with it. That's all that matters, and I love the way it turned out. The only thing now is that the front of the house is mismatched. My garage door doesn't match my front door, so that's something that we have to address at some other time, but that's a completely different aspect of anything here. It has to do with my home remodeling anyways. But guys, let me know what you think about the garage. Let me know your comments and thoughts about this whole process. If you guys would spend that kind of money, again, the total with the garage door, $4,500. I think I spent about $2,000 in the garage total, maybe less. Actually, about $1,500. Yeah, about $1,500. So total, all in all, you were talking about $6,000, $6,500. I'm gonna say I spent on the garage to get it looking the way I wanted to look. Finally. So you guys let me know what you think. How do you like the garage transformation? Have you guys done your own garage transformation, and what your garage look like? The only thing, again, I wish I had a 3-car garage, which I should have done that when I built the house, but it is what it is. It's in the past. So if you guys did like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on future videos when we start working on the cars again. Peace.